Well, here I am.
Some actors don't have to raise their voice to be terrifying. Some don't even need dialogue. They just walk on screen, stand there quietly, and somehow your brain goes, oh no, something bad is about to happen. And Tom Noonan? He is the king of that energy. He's one of the most unique villain actors of the last 40 years. Tall, soft-spoken, thoughtful, and capable of projecting either deep vulnerability or absolute dread, sometimes both at the same time. He has played brutal killers, cyborg drug lords, satanic cult leaders, creepy hitmen, and in one of the great cinematic twists of fate, the most gentle Frankenstein's monster ever filmed. So today we are talking about Tom Noonan, the calmest scary man in movie history. He wasn't a typical villain guy. He wasn't an athlete, he wasn't a martial artist, he wasn't a Broadway ham. He was a writer, a composer, a playwright, a guy who came from the theater scene and carried that introspective energy into film. He's 6'5", but he uses his height very differently from most tall actors. He doesn't loom, he withdraws. He doesn't explode, he implodes. There is something almost shy about him. But that shyness turns into the most unnerving stillness imaginable when he plays a villain. He's like a haunted house that learned how to act. His breakout came in the early 80s, but the defining moment, the moment Tom Noonan became, oh god, I feel weird just looking at him, happened in 1986. Before Anthony Hopkins' Hannibal Lecter dominated pop culture, there was Michael Mann's Manhunter, and in that film, Tom Noonan delivered one of the most chilling serial killer performances ever put on film. Francis Dollarhide, the Tooth Fairy. Michael Mann reportedly cast Noonan after an audition where he barely spoke, barely moved, and kept his distance from everyone. People didn't know whether he was acting or just being Tom Noonan, which honestly makes it even better. What makes his Dollarhide so memorable is how quiet the character is. No ranting, no screaming, no cartoon psychopath nonsense. Just a wounded, deeply broken man trying to evolve into something monstrous. It's a performance built on stillness. The way he's breathing, the way he looks away, the way he says almost nothing but communicates everything. And if you look at later serial killer portrayals, especially in the 90s, you can see shades of Noonan's Dollarhide everywhere.
Francis?
No. Not Francis. Francis is gone. Francis is gone forever.
He set a template that others borrowed from. Then Tom Noonan swung into completely opposite direction for RoboCop 2. Playing the drug lord turned cyborg abomination Kane. The fun thing is that he's terrifying before becoming a robot. The calm, spiritual tone, the cult leader cadence. He sounds like someone who would offer you enlightenment but also absolutely murder you if you ask the wrong question. And then of course his brain gets ripped out and put into a nightmare stop-motion robot monster. Classic family entertainment. RoboCop 2 was a step back from the first one, but Noonan's villain made it memorable. Small roles, big impact. This is where Tom Noonan shines. He can steal a movie or a show with 90 seconds of screen time. In The Pledge, he appears late in the film, delivering a performance so calm and ordinary that it becomes disturbing. It's a masterclass in how to be terrifying without doing anything.
I guess, will you tell me your name?
In Synecdoche, New York, in Charlie Kaufman's surreal epic, he appears almost like a ghost, an observer, a mirror, a presence. And even there, Klein's entire world feels heavier when he walks in.
And I've learned everything about you by following you. So hire me, and you'll see who you truly are.
Tom Noonan also made memorable appearances across television, where he often turned short guest roles into small haunting events. In The X-Files, Law & Order, CSI, The Blacklist, he brought that same quiet intensity to characters who might have been forgettable in lesser hands.
You bring me my heart, and maybe I'll tell you more.
Even in a single episode role, Noonan has a way of making you lean forward. And when he did get multi-episode arcs, he made them feel special. In 12 Monkeys, his mysterious, almost prophetic presence added a surreal layer to the show's already twisted time travel logic. In Damages, he played a troubled, fragile man whose emotional unraveling gave the series some of its most quietly devastating moments. And in Hell on Hills, he disappeared completely into the role of a preacher overshadowed by violence and trauma.
Yeah, no angel.
In 1995, Michael Mann brought him back again for Heat, and even though he's barely in the film, he's unforgettable. He plays Kelso, the quiet contact who helps to get info for the bank heist, and this is where Noonan's presence becomes almost supernatural. He doesn't raise his voice, he barely gestures, but you instantly know this guy's for real, and he's so calm that it becomes intimidating, like he knows things nobody else knows. It's one of those performances where the less he does, the more powerful it becomes, and that's Tom Noonan's entire magic. But one of the reasons fans love him is because he's not only a villain. His Frankenstein's monster is weirdly sweet, lost, confused, emotional. Kids who grew up on this film remember him as one of the first monsters they felt sorry for. Anomalisa from 2015 is bizarre in the best way. He voices every single character in the film except the two leads. Every man, every woman, every kid. It's like a one-man emotional universe, and he nails it. This man really has range. Now let's talk about one of my personal favorites, Last Action Hero. Tom Noonan plays the Ripper, a menacing axe-wielding murderer from the fictional Jack Slater universe, and he's absolutely having fun with it. This is Tom Noonan with permission to play, to exaggerate, to lean into the absurdity of being a movie villain inside a movie that knows it's a movie. He's scary, but also theatrical, dangerous, and also cartoonish.
Now we've played this number before, haven't we, Jack?
And when he switches between his grim movie persona and his real-life actor version, it becomes a perfect meta joke.
Place the Ripper.
And yes, while we are talking about Last Action Hero, there's absolutely no way I'm skipping Charles Dance. Of course, I'm working on the Charles Dance episode as well. How could I not? The man steals every scene with a raised eyebrow.
Have a nice day.
And because this film deserves a proper second look, I'm also working on a Last Action Hero Rediscovered video, dropping very soon. It's one of those movies that was misunderstood when it came out and absolutely deserves the love it's getting now. Ty West cast Tom Noonan as a patriarch of a satanic cult in the House of Devil, and the casting is brilliant. He doesn't rush, he doesn't shout, he speaks softly with warmth, and that's exactly what makes him so terrifying. It's a perfect role for him, a polite man who happens to be arranging human sacrifices. Classic Tom Noonan. The funniest part of all this? Everyone who meets Tom Noonan says he's exceptionally gentle, thoughtful, and soft-spoken, a writer at heart, a musician, a person who would rather talk about philosophy and theater than violence or horror. One of his most famous quotes is that acting villains is, just like wearing a mask everyone is already afraid of. He sees acting as a psychological experiment, not a performance. He also wrote and directed indie films that won Sundance, like What Happened Was, proving he's more than just a tall and scary guy. Tom Noonan is not frightening because he's big. He's frightening because he understands silence, he understands stillness, he understands the power of being the calmest person in the room and letting the audience fill the quiet with dread. His villains are not loud, they are not flamboyant, they don't monologue, they don't pose, they just exist, and that somehow is more terrifying. He can do exactly the same thing in a gentle role and somehow make you want to hug him instead. That's range, that's artistry. So that's Tom Noonan. The gentle giant of nightmares, the quiet philosopher of horror, and one of the most fascinating character actors working today. From Manhunter to RoboCop 2, from Heat to Monster Squad, from the House of Devil to Last Action Hero, he's built a career out of turning silence into chaos and calmness into fear. And of course, stick around, the Charles Dance episode is on the way, and the Last Action Hero Rediscovered video is also coming very soon. Let me know what your favorite Tom Noonan role is, and if you have one I missed, drop it in the comments. Thanks for watching.